I'm glad you're here. It's a wonderful day in South Carolina. I hope it's a wonderful day wherever you are. But we appreciate you being here. As I always say, these meetings are for you. They're not for me or Tiffany, they're for you. And so if you have a subject you'd like us to talk about in a future meeting, just email that to us and we'll try to include it on the agenda. Um, we're going to come back in a little bit and talk about finances. And then a little bit later, we're going to talk about the annual meeting. But in case you have to disappear somewhere along the line, I would encourage you to register for the annual meeting. As of a few minutes ago, there were 28 registered. We could use a whole bunch more. This is an opportunity for you to come and hear the researchers and to interface with them, interact with them, and ask questions of them. And so put that on your calendar. That's May 6 and 7. And we'll talk about that a little bit more a little later. So Tiffany, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Rod. So every month we have a fundraising moment or idea and a public image moment or idea. And so tonight, our Vice President of Public Image, Tim Radford, is going to talk to us briefly about some tips and tricks that we want folks to know about when it comes to public image. Tim, it's all yours.
So all of us here, I'm sure we've watched the 6 o'clock or the 11 o'clock news on TV. And the public image here is kind of like the anchor of the news program. And how many of us have cell phones? All of us? Yes, yes, yes. So that makes every one of us reporters. And that's so handy. We don't have to carry cameras around with us anymore. We don't have to carry the big rolling cameras or anything like for video. We have all that stuff in our hands right now. And we want to make sure we do a good job to present ourselves as the CART Fund and Rotary in a very attractive manner to folks. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about is the power of visual storytelling, and how do we share what Rotary and CART Fund is doing. There's so many things that I was browsing my former club, the Facebook there, and I was Tiffany and I were talking earlier today about some of the photos that get shared that really shouldn't get shared. How many of you have seen those pictures of someone standing behind a podium beside their Rotary flag, looking all sad or hateful? Those are not really that appealing, right? I see all those, or somebody presenting a check to somebody. We love those checks, but we have to think about who's going to be viewing those photos. Is it meant to be the public viewing us and wanting to be attracted to us? If so, then that may not be the case. So we want to make sure what we do is capturing who we are. We are people of action, and our motto is service above self. So whenever we're taking pictures, we want to make sure to take more than one picture because sometimes, you might not have the best smile. Why do action shots matter? They they show us the passion, engagement, and what we're all about. We highlight these to attract attention, evoke motions, and inspire others to join or support our cause. And what is our cause with the CART Fund? We're here to basically eradicate Alzheimer's, find that cure, and we attract donors. We attract people who want to do service. We want fundraisers for our organization. So we want to make sure to focus on those smiles in the pictures. When we don't have to worry about too much technical stuff with our iPhones or our Droids. They take really good pictures now. So you don't have to worry about all those settings especially if you're trying to capture a shot that's not staged. You're just trying to capture a spontaneous moment. Just pop open your phone, open the app for photos or a camera, and start taking pictures. And the best pictures I've seen, people are not looking at the camera. They're not like I am right now. I'm centered in the frame. Those kind of look staged because they are staged. Sometimes you can be over here to the right. Sometimes there's something in the center like a statue or something, and we're off to the side. Some of those get attraction. And if you can imagine, if you post photos on Facebook and try to figure out which one's going to get the most likes, that's the ones you should start taking the most. So those action photos really do matter a lot more, and they get shared a lot more on Facebook. And what does that mean? When they get shared on Facebook, more people hear our message. And that is so important, because if no one hears our message, how do they know what we're about? I keep on going back when I also own a radio station. And one of the first things that was taught to me is there's businesses that have been around for years and years, and they've never bought an advertisement on radio or newspaper. They're there, they exist, and people walk into their store. But if they have a sale 25% off and they don't attract new customers that become repeat customers, they're just losing money off that sale. So you have to attract new customers. And that's what public image does with both Rotary and the CART Fund, is that we attract new people to our organization. We attract more donors. We attract more fundraising. How do we share that? We want to, first of all, you know who your district public image chair is. You know who your club public image chair is. Make sure to share those photos with them, because those need to be in our newsletter with a caption of what are we looking at, and how can it be creative? How can it be funny? Because we're not just, a stale organization. We have fun. So make sure to send those to your public image chairs and get them up to the district level. And that way they can be a part of the district newsletter as well. But also, it's very important to share them with the CART Fund social media pages. Tiffany does a fantastic job with our Facebook page. How many of you know the difference between a hashtag and the @ symbol when you tag people? It confused me for years. I never knew what the difference in those was, because the hashtag, let me just read what I printed out here. The hashtag symbol looks like the pound sign on the phone, like the number, like you're playing tic-tac-toe. That is for hashtags. It categorizes content to make it searchable. So if you do hashtag the CART Fund, people can search that or click on it, because it turns blue and it becomes a link, and you can click on the CART Fund and see everything, or maybe not everything, but tons and tons of stuff where people have added hashtag the CART Fund into their post. It could be me on my personal page using hashtag the CART Fund, and my story would appear in that CART Fund feed. Okay, so that becomes a part of a stream content with that specific tag. So the @ symbol, which is the A in a circle, that is known as a social tag or a mention. So it's used to tag individuals or pages. The one thing that's interesting about using the @ symbol to tag people, they get notified that you have tagged them. So if you @ symbol Tim Radford, like, hey, William Parker, why is he talking about me? Let me go see what he said. So I'll go there and I'll see my name on his page, like, oh, that's okay. I'll share that to my page. So it alerts me that William has tagged me, or @ the CART Fund. And then Tiffany would get notified that someone has tagged the CART Fund page. And that encourages more interaction that way. So social media is so important. Traditional media is important. And just getting the right moments, capturing the right visualizations. And also, if you're doing photos, you have your phone like this, I recommend turn your phone that way. For the landscape portrait, it gets a better photo, and there's no black bars on the sides of your Facebook feed if you post it on Facebook, because a lot of times, I read somewhere that sometimes square photos rank well on there. But if you're doing a video, there is a debate whether you should do it landscape or portrait mode. Personally, my preference is the landscape for a better video. Tiffany, is that the same thing with you? What do you think on landscape versus portrait?
I agree completely. I spent years training everyone in our district to do every video in landscape mode. And then what happened? Reels came out. And now TikTok and Reels on Facebook and Instagram are all in the portrait mode. So it's very frustrating, because I've been training people for years, finally got them to do it correctly, and now we have to use both. But it depends on where you're posting it. If you're going to put it on YouTube or just run a video, absolutely landscape mode. If you're going to create a reel, you probably want it to be in portrait mode so that it doesn't cut somebody off.
And Kevin had added there the iPhones also have a live setting, which takes a series of photos, and you can go back and pick the best picture, make it the primary picture. That's a very good feedback, Kevin. Thank you so much.
I will also add, Tim, that if you are posting a picture into a story in DACDB, it has to be in landscape mode because it will turn it upside down or sideways if you post a portrait mode photo. So go ahead, and if you're taking a picture at an event and you're planning to put it on Facebook, go ahead and take some pictures in landscape mode also.
I'm glad you said that because I've had that happen before and I had no idea why it flipped it sideways. Interesting. So how many of you use DACDB to post stories and stuff? All right. So, but yeah, a very powerful tool for all of us to use and a great way to get our word out internally to our club. And then of course, the social media is a way for us to get our, not internally, but externally to the rest of the world.
We want to make sure that you are sharing things that are going on in the CART world from your club and from your district, not only on your club social media and on your personal social media, but share them with your district public image chair and share them with us, whether it's tagging CART or me or Tim on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or any of the above. And that the only way we can find it is if you tag us or if we happen to be following that account. So because Tim mentioned that about how to use the @ sign, and Michelle is sitting here beside me, and she said, oh, I didn't know that. So I thought I would share my screen real quick with you guys. Okay, so if I want to make a post, I would say thanks to, and I use the @ sign, Tim Radford. There he is. I would go down and select him for presenting tonight, blah, 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 blah. And when I do that, then it would literally tag him. So that's how you would do. And then if you would say to presenting tonight to, and you would do @ sign the, look at that, it's because I use it all the time, along with the Rotary Club of Franklin, Lenore, but you would pick the CART fund. And then it would notify me that you did that. No, I'm not going to save that one on my page because it doesn't have a picture, and you always want to use a picture if you can. But so you would do the @ sign and then start typing the first few initials of that name, and it'll allow you to tag someone, whether it's a page or a person, and then they'll get notified. So that's how I'll find out that you're sharing pictures of. And one of the things that you might think about doing is everybody says, oh, well, it's just a speaker. That's not an action picture. I try to take pictures of people holding buckets or people putting their money in a bucket, shoot some video of that, anything that's action oriented. Obviously a fundraiser or an event is easier to do, but even if it's at a meeting, or let's say you're at a meeting and someone says, oh, here, I want to put a $5 bill in the bucket this week because I love CART and I put a $5 bill in that bucket every week. Oh, can I shoot a video of you saying that? Pull out your phone, take a quick video of them saying, here's me putting my $5, and send those to me. We'll find a way to use them. And we're on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And if you're not following us on those 3 things of social media, please do. Yeah, great job, Tim. Thank you.
Public image helps membership. Membership helps our giving. So it's all tied together. We grow together. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, Rod, we're going to turn it to you for an update because we have just completed our 3rd quarter of the year. Can you guys believe this Rotary year is 3 quarters over?
Yeah. Well, I'd like to remind anybody on this call that 100% of what you donate goes to research. But we have some administrative expenses, and we cover those through TRAC, T-R-A-C, TRAC. And the funds for TRAC comes from all kinds of sources, including interest on the money that's donated. But through March, we have spent $44,000 in TRAC against a budget of $69,000. And we will have some more expenses in April and May because of various district conferences and pets and the annual meeting. But all that money for TRAC comes from sources other than your donations to the CART fund. The CART fund as most of you have heard, we got a wonderful donation recently of $1 million. And so through March, we've collected $1.7 million for this year, from July 1 until now. And we think that's absolutely wonderful, because we have 3 more months in this year, and we can certainly get to 2 million if some folks just put in a few more quarters and nickels and dimes. That'd be great. As information, we will at the annual meeting distribute $1.4 million in research grants. And the $1.4 million was what the research panel recommended to us. We're funding every one of the grants that they recommended to us. There are 5 recipients. And so if you come to the annual meeting, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you'll get to hear those 5 folks talk about their projects. So Tiffany?
Thank you, Rod. Okay, so every month we try to give you guys a new idea for a fundraising idea of the month or a fundraising tip. And as a reminder, all of these meetings are recorded and then uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you're really bored one day and you have 4 hours in the car and you want to just go back through that entire playlist of monthly CART conversations, you can get caught up on all of the important information. And you can also get a bunch of ideas for public image and fundraising in that idea as well. But tonight I'm excited because I got a chance to visit his club earlier this week. John Yermack used to be in District 7670. He's now next door in the Charlotte district. But he helped do a really fun and productive fundraiser in our district several years ago. And I asked him to share that with you guys tonight. So in case you're looking for something new and innovative that you've never seen, I promise you've not seen anything like you're about to see tonight.
Well, thank you, Tiffany. And my club really appreciates your visit. They're still saying you were the best program ever, which is nothing unusual. I know that. Tiffany is correct. We had a really great fundraiser. It's been several years ago now. I think it was Billy Black that was the district governor at the time. She invited her leadership team to do a pretty legs contest. And there were about half a dozen of us that took her up on the idea, some more seriously than others, or more intense than others. And it's really very simple. Put out some CART buckets with our names on them. And the idea was for us to parade around during the district conference in our shorts, showing off our legs, and people were to put money in our buckets. Well, you know, Rotarians sometimes are a little more competitive, and we certainly are a shy bunch, so it may have escalated a little bit further than that. But the end results was, well, there's also a little kicker. We raised about $3,000, but we did have an individual who was willing to match the first $1,000. So in essence, we raised $2,000 at that district conference in $20 bills and occasionally maybe a $100 bill. This day and time, I don't carry cash anymore. So you'd have to make some adjustments for the electronic funds. Okay. Are y'all seeing my gorgeous legs? Huh. Yeah, I know, Tim. You got to get that out of your mind, guys. I was fortunate enough to have a friend at the time who was a tattoo artist. And he made me some temporary tattoos. And then, as I say, we are a little competitive. So I had to have the toenails painted, the Rotary logos, the fingernails. And so it really was exciting. Some of the other guys, well, I was probably the most extreme, don't you think, Tiffany? But
Absolutely.
There were some rumors that some people may have threatened to sit on people's lap if they didn't throw in the $20, you know, but that's untrue. I never would do that. For 100 maybe, but not for 20. So it was really a fun event. It does take a little planning ahead, but it worked very well.
Kevin makes the comment that this does not meet current branding, but Kevin, this was many years ago. This was actually before the new logo came out. So in his defense, that was the logo that was current back in 16 or so when he did this.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Then grandfather really does fit in with this.
This is why the branding came out, because of John Yermack's work.
I love
That
it,
could
Bill.
be true.
That could very well be true. Anyway, so any questions, guys? All right, back to you,
How do I
Tiffany.
unsee this?
Yeah,
I think
good luck.
the point is that John and them came up with something totally different that no one had done before. They did it at a public district event at the conference. It was more than just passing a bucket, but there are all kinds of things. You could do a dance off. I spoke at a district conference in West Virginia last year, Virginia. They did a karaoke night and everybody had their own bucket, everybody that participated that night. But the point is to do something that's fun, do something that your people can get involved in. And if you get some hams like John and Dills and some of those guys that were willing and able to kick it up a notch, that's even better. And I don't know why it is, but we only did that once. Just saying. But Kevin, there's an idea for your district conference next year. Again, it was a lot of fun, and they did raise a lot of money that night. And that brings to point as well that you might think about. We used to have someone who matched the first $1,000 raised at every district conference, and we don't have that person anymore. But you might look at finding someone in your district or in your club that would do that, or do it at one of your club meetings one night if you have a large club, or no, one night. And if you have someone in your club that would be willing to do something fun like this or to match it, that's a way to increase your fundraising even more. Thank you, Kevin, for being here. Y'all have fun this weekend. All right, so now we're going to go to Michelle for a few minutes to talk about the donor portal. There have been some issues going on with it. I feel like we say that every month, and we probably do, but they are works in progress, and everything, all the money is there, it's safe. We're just dealing with little computer issues. But Michelle has a couple of quick tips for you guys, because if you have used it lately, you may have seen a few things that are different, and Michelle's going to touch base on that.
Yeah, and before I do, I just want to say that Tiffany said challenge. When I was district club CART chair, I used to start my meeting for CART and make $100 challenge. And I would put $100 and challenge the club to match it. And that worked really well. So, yeah, one of the things that I get a lot of calls on, and I look at the portal every morning and afternoon, is people don't quite understand that when you make a personal contribution, your club automatically will get that credit as long as you're logged in with a club. So sometimes I'll go on and it's Mary Jones and she's made a club contribution in memory of her husband. And just by looking at that, I know that it's Mary Jones's personal contribution, and I can go in and change it. But if you just encourage people when they make a contribution, if they make it personal, their club gets the credit, because that's important to a lot of people around here. The other thing that we changed and added was if you made a recurring contribution, it used to be that you had to call me or call someone to stop that contribution, to make a new one or to make a change. You can now go into your own recurring contribution and make that change. So I had a woman yesterday who called me and she said, I want to change the date of my contribution and I want to give you more money. And can you do that for me? And then she sent me another email that said, wow, I just figured out how to do it myself. So she actually went in, made a recurring contribution, a new one with a new date, with her own information, and she did that by herself. Many of you on this call tonight have spoken with me before. I'm happy really to help anybody go through, make contributions, put them in the portal. The most important thing is just to be nice to people. They're making contributions. Thank them. Thank everybody. And if you need any help, Glenda knows I'm there. I'm happy to help anybody. So those are the two things with the portal. Right now, reports are going to run come the end of June, the end of the year, June 30th. it takes us about a week or two, maybe could be 3, to move to the following year, CART year in the portal. So give us some time after that. But if you can get all your contributions in the portal by June 30th for this fiscal year, that's great. Any questions?
We should add, when we talk about the portal, you just said fiscal year contributions. Oh, I know.
Correct.
That if your district has new clubs that have chartered,
Correct.
they do not automatically get entered. So it is up to a district CART chair or the district governor line to let us know that there are new clubs, and we can have them imported. But it doesn't automatically know to do that unless someone tells us. So if you are a district CART chair or in the district governor line, if you will make sure to let us know when a new club charters, we can get them entered. And then the data for each of the clubs in your district will update on July 1, just like it does with Rotary International. And when it calculates the number of members and then your per capita giving, it's based on the number on July 1. It does not change throughout the year every time your membership numbers change, just like it does with Rotary International. And I know we'll be getting that question because we're coming close to the end of the year. And if there are clubs that have shut down and closed down and given up their charters and you want those removed, just let us know that too. You might want to leave them in there for a year or so that you have that data. But if it's not important and you want them removed so that it just makes your report cleaner, we're happy to do that as well. Just let us know.
And if you add new people in leadership that need powers, sometimes we'll get a call from somebody from a club and they say, but I can't find this, or I can't look this up, or I don't have the capacity to do it. I go in and just give them the power so that they can see whatever they need to see. So that won't automatically happen as well unless you tell us.
Just like DACDB, you have to put in your new officers every year, and then they get those levels of security and access in DACDB. The same is true with the CART portal.
I have a question, Michelle. When you said they need to be logged in, can you just clarify what you mean by that for the personal contribution?
Well, if you go in, let's say I'm going in to make my own contribution. I logged in, and when I logged in, my information came from DACDB. If you're on DACDB, it automatically came in with my club.
When you log into mycartfund.org.
When you went to mycartfund.org.
Got it, because that's what's on the bucket. I'm on week 2 of doing this, and the
yes,
bucket's on
your picture today. Thank you.
Yes. So when someone in your club logs in for themselves, it'll automatically have their club with them. If you are putting it,
but say they need to log in when they go to mycartfund.org using the exact same login that they use in DACDB. If they create a new account as a new user, it will totally screw things up. But if they will log in using their DACDB login, it will automatically know what club they're in.
Yes.
And then.
Yes. And then Teresa, if you're putting in donations for people, you go in, you log in with your name, and then when it says, is it a personal or a club, you'll find that person. You'll say personal, and then you'll find that person in a drop down, or you'll add their name. When the receipt will then go directly to them, but you're entering it for them.
And just as a reminder, I know it goes without saying, but she is a volunteer doing that. And so if you call her at 10 o'clock at night, she is not going to answer that. She's going to do it the next day or in the next few days. So thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, Rod, would you like to give us an update on anything else about the annual meeting?
Yes. Annual meeting is May the 6th and May the 7th. It's in Columbia, South Carolina. On the 6th, we'll have 2 hours of training from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the afternoon for any of those folks who want to get updated, refreshed on training about the CART Fund. And then that evening from 5:30 to 7, we'll have an in-person reception in honor of the researchers. And so all 5 researchers will be in a room, and hopefully lots of us. And you can interact with them, ask questions of them, do one-on-one conversations with them. I have found that to be very beneficial in the past. You get to know them on a personal level. They're real people. They aren't just some piece of paper that you read. They're real people, and you can talk to them and interface with them. And we look forward to that. On Tuesday, May the 7th, is our annual meeting. And we will have in-person and online opportunities for the annual meeting. The get-together starts about 9. The meeting will start at 10 a.m. that morning. And for those of you out west, that's Eastern time. We'll run until about 4 in the afternoon. That includes lunch for those of you who are in the room. We'll have an online opportunity for the morning session, an online opportunity for the afternoon session. Each of the 5 researchers will give a presentation, talk about their project, tell you what they're trying to do with their project. We'll have a check presentation at the end of each of their presentations. Whether you're online or in person, you get to hear them and hear from them and understand a little bit about what they're doing with our money. If you're in the room, you get to ask questions from the floor. We've asked each of them to leave a few minutes at the end of their presentation for Q&A. And so we're looking forward to that. And like I said a while ago, we have 28 registered so far, 25 in person and 3 online. And whether you're in person or online, we look forward to your participating with us. It's a wonderful opportunity to get to know people who are receiving money that you've collected. And so we appreciate you and we appreciate what they're going to do for us.
So there is a link to register for that on our website. If you go to cartfund.org and click on calendar, you can find all of the CART activities there, and you can click on that date, May 7th, and it will automatically take you to a link to register. You can also find it in the DAC-DB calendar by clicking on multi-district events. You'll find all of the CART activities, and you can register there and pay. There is also a room block at the Marriott on Main Street in downtown Columbia, which is conveniently located right across the street from where the reception is on Monday evening. And so the room block, there's a limit of maybe 12 or 15 rooms, and I'm sure those are filling up fast. So if you are planning to join us in person, go ahead and get your room reserved, get registered. You have to register one way or the other online if you want to participate. Because that's how we'll know to send you the Zoom link, even if you're going to be online. And if you are going to be in person, it'll ask you to pay for your lunch when you register. So we would love to have all of you there. We want you to share that. We're only about 3 weeks away. So if you'll share that with your clubs and with your districts, I know we put a notice in our district newsletter this month about it. If you can do that sooner rather than later, because it's coming up in a few weeks, and maybe by May 1st, it might be too late for people to make plans to join us, but we would love to have you guys join us. Other activities on the calendar that I want to make sure you guys are all aware of. As you recall, this meeting, CART Conversations, is open to anyone. It is recorded and put online for those who can't join us live. And again, it's the second Thursday of every month, but we will not have one during the month of May because of the annual meeting. We'll do that instead. And so we will have one during the month of June, and that is June the 13th, the second Thursday. We already have some really great speakers lined up for that one, so please don't miss it. But beginning in July, this meeting will move to the third Thursday of every month, and I've started putting those into the DAC-DB calendar already. I think I got through September while I was on vacation. I need to finish the last few months of the calendar year. But if you want to go ahead and register for those, you can. If you register for those in advance, you will get an email reminder the day before with the Zoom link so that you don't have to look for it in your email or look for it on the calendar. The other main activity that we have every month is our monthly lunch a la carte, which is a Zoom meeting with a researcher where they get a chance to give us an update on the status of Alzheimer's and dementia, their specific research, and what else is going on around the country. Bill Parker is taking charge of that and has been scheduling our speakers. So there will not be one in the month of May because we'll hear from 5 researchers that day at the annual meeting. But there is one next week, Wednesday, April the 17th, with Dr. Marius Wernig. Again, you can register for that from the calendar or from DAC-DB. Please register for that. Please share that link with other people as well. But again, if you miss one of those, we do record them and put them on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, there's my plug to do that, because everything that we do is put on there as a playlist. There's a playlist for Lunch and Learns. There's a playlist for monthly CART Conversations. There's a playlist of researcher presentations that they do when they come to the annual meetings. And there's some other playlists as well. So if you guys start taking video of donors and Rotarians at your meetings and send them to me, I can add those to it as well. Okay, so that next one is April the 17th. There will not be one in May. And then they're working on them for the rest of the year. So just keep an eye out for those. They will not be on the same date every month because they do depend on the availability of our researchers. Any questions about our calendar? If you are out there speaking at a Rotary Club or a community event, or if your club has a fundraiser, please send me that information so I can add it to the calendar. I just got one today from a Rotary Club in upstate South Carolina, and their fundraiser is next week, and he wanted me to put it on there. Well, I'll be happy to, but it's, not many people are going to get it this late. So if you can send it to me as soon as you know about it, we'll share it on our social media. We'll put it on the news or the fundraising page of the website, and we'll put it on the calendar as well. So, but we have to know about it. So there's lots of activities going on. If you're speaking at your conference and you need postcards or pins or something, let us know that. If you are running out of buckets, we need to know that as well. We are about to wrap up another shipment of buckets, so we're getting ready to order more. If you need buckets in your club or in your district, please let us know. We will have a vendor at the annual meeting in May in Columbia. Those of you may recall having Erin Andrews has been on this call with us in the past. She's on our marketing team, and she owns Civic Swag. And there is a link to the online CART apparel store from our website. And Erin is going to be on site with some things that you can purchase the day of at that annual meeting. And she has a lot of CART branded materials, shirts, pins, tablecloths, banners, all kinds of stuff. And she's adding new things every month, tote bags, tumblers, cups, all kinds of great stuff. So take a look at that. It's on our website, cartfund.org. Just click on online apparel store, I believe is what it says. And she will be on site May the 7th. You'll get to take a look at those things. I want to say thank you to John Yermack for being here tonight. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you again. And Tim, thank you for your presentation tonight as well. We're going to have some great training. I spoke with Babby Jaco last week. She is going to have a presentation for us as part of our training on Monday in Columbia, that May the 6th. We're going to be talking a lot about donor engagement, and which is something that we obviously need to continue to work on as well. And so I'm excited about that. We're going to have a great, and for those of you who are not with us in person, that will not be Zoomed, but it will be recorded. And then we add those to our training playlist. There's a training playlist too on the YouTube channel. And all of the ones from last year are on there now. There's one on public image. There's one on grants where Dr. Goforth explains how we select our grants. There's one on the 5 W's of what, who, what, where CART is and does. There's lots of great information on our social media and on our YouTube channel. And if you can't find something that you need, you let me know and we'll find it for you, or we'll add it. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do. We could not do this without you. As Rod mentioned, it is another record year for the CART Fund. We were so excited to exceed $2 million last year, and now we know we're going to do it again this year, 2 years in a row, and we couldn't do it without your help. So we are so grateful for each and every dollar that you guys help raise, and each and every person that you speak to and that you reach in your communities. That is just putting us one step closer to finding a prevention, treatment, or cure for Alzheimer's, and we greatly appreciate you.